Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. I want to say my last video was 2 weeks ago. I feel like I've been sort of radio silent on here. So I'm bringing you a late February wrap up. So I thought to do something with my hair, but this is just really the true representation of what's going on here. Let's talk February reading. January, as you saw in my last wrap-up video in January, I read like a lot. And I knew already when I was reading in that month that that was gonna be leading me into a slump, and it did. So cue reading slump in February. I sunk into a sinkhole, and I mean, not completely. I read 3 books. Also, I had a very heavy work month in February. Work felt to me like banging my head against a fucking wall. Obviously enjoying it in moments, but it was just it was just a really intensely physical, busy month. And I was supposed to read 2 books that were buddy reads, and I failed them miserably. People are texting me, so we'll get into that later. Okay, so the first thing I read was a poetry collection by Young Lee called The Undressing. I will put the cover jacket on for you. That's the cover. I would say that these are love poems. Celebrated poet Young Lee returns with a breathtaking new volume about the violence of desire and the peace of love. He is an Indonesian poet, currently living in Chicago. So I had like mixed feelings about this collection. I felt as a whole, I didn't absolutely love it, and it wasn't my favorite poetry collection I ever read. However, there are some really standout poems in here, and also standout just lines, and some really stunning passages. Morning is greater with its firstborn light and birdsong. Noon is taller, though a moment's realm. Evening is ancient and immense, and night's storied house more huge. So I posted a lot of underlined passages on my Instagram, and everyone was asking what book this is. So there's definitely what to take from this poetry collection. I wrote at some point inside the book, almost there for me, but not quite. I don't like how the poems close. I feel there's an importance to an ending. So I guess I didn't like the way that they ended, a lot of them. The word is the voice of the lamp, and words are soot blackening the glass. That's really beautiful. That's from a poem called Changing Places in the Fire, which I underlined because I must have liked it. In general, not super memorable necessarily. Grew up as the child of refugees, so you sense that experience in the language, what it means collectively to be humans. Opening poem is sort of him undressing his wife and exploring her body, how they find shelter and refuge in each other, tender but also like kind of violent in some ways. All About the Birds was one I liked. I'm also into birds lately. Bird imagery. Spoken For, I remember I really liked. I turn to poetry sometimes when I don't want to have to follow any kind of storyline, and I just want sentences that jump off the page to me as something very visceral or beautiful, and that definitely happened inside this collection. I just wouldn't say as a whole thing it was like mind-blowing to me. So give that a try if you're a poetry lover. Then I read Department of Speculation by Jenny Offill, and I thought this was fucking great. This just rocked my world, really. So many dog ears here, underlines. This is a fragmentary novel. So if you're into fragmentary form, you will probably like the way in which this is written. I have a reading vlog about this, so I won't talk too much about it. I'll leave the link up here. Adored by readers and critics alike, Department of Speculation navigates the jagged edges of a modern marriage to tell a story that is funny, surprising, and wise. So what I found about this is that it was really funny, but also made me cry, also really broke my heart open. It is about the disintegration of a marriage in the insular thoughts and mind of the wife in this story, and something happens that kind of severs their marriage and their relationship, and what that causes in her, how she deals with this betrayal. Also, the moments where she describes the relationship to her daughter are just so beautiful and sweet and tender, and obviously complicated and hard and exhausting, being a parent, but I thought that it was really beautiful. Also, passages where she speaks about the daughter. I thought the portrayal of complicated love and pain, but pain with someone that you know the most, that you've shared so much with, I thought was so realistic and beautiful and heartbreaking. Jenny Offill, I'm a stan. I stan Jenny Offill. I want to read Weather. I have it on my Kindle. I just thought this was truly exceptional. So, Department of Speculation, 5 stars for me. You can watch my vlog if you want a little bit more. Then I read Cold Enough for Snow by Jessica Au. I got this as a digital ARC on NetGalley, so thank you to NetGalley and Fitzarraldo Editions who published that in the UK. Jessica is an Australian author. I also have a video, a little chat video, my latest video about this book, so I'll link that also because I really talk extensively about it. But briefly, it's about a mother-daughter relationship told from the daughter's first-person perspective. They fly to Japan. Her mother is they're living in 2 different places, and it's not exactly told where our main character is living or where she grew up, but she grew up in an English-speaking first language country. I would think Australia, because of Jessica being an Australian author. And her mother is from Hong Kong originally. So they take a trip to Japan together, and it's not really clear how close they are, what their relationship is like. The mother is really not speaking or sharing very much throughout the whole book, and the daughter is dealing with the questions of their relationship, of this kind of silence. She observes her a lot. They go to a lot of art museums. It's very art heavy. Not that you need to know necessarily art references, just that it's dissecting the experience of looking at art, and in the way like art imitates life, so it's looking at how you look at life. A non-linear narrative, it goes back to her childhood, it goes into experiences with her partner. Did this book a small disservice by reading it not in one sitting, because it's very slim, so I recommend you read it in one sitting if you're gonna read this. Dipping in and out of it, I think, just takes you out of the experience. But it's very atmospheric. It's a quiet book, but the language is really beautiful. It's very heavy in atmosphere and description. Beautiful, really, really beautiful. At some points find myself wanting it to go in a certain direction that it didn't go in. Yeah, I think in the end, I appreciate it for what it is. I'd like to reread it, especially because it's so short. It reminded me of Japan, of my time in Japan. This also in my other video, that I feel like I've been reading a lot from a parent perspective, looking at the child, and this was a daughter looking at her mother. Okay, and then the 2 buddy reads that I was supposed to do was one that some of you guys were really excited about, which was my first Sally Rooney, which was Conversations with Friends. I was gonna do a buddy read and vlog with my partner, Ohad. Gotta say, tossed it aside. Something didn't work for me. I was interested, but also irritated. I can't explain why. Also, my reading slump in February really didn't allow me to dive into stories with characters that I need to follow. I need to follow their relationships, what they think about each other. Just totally the wrong thing for me right now, at least. And then I picked up Writers and Lovers by Lily King, which I definitely enjoyed much more than the Rooney, kind of reading them simultaneously. And this one, I definitely preferred a lot more. Just the style, the writing, I think the writing is better. So I just, once we got to a section about like this guy that she's seeing, I just was like, I don't have patience. I don't have patience for any relationships or things, people right now in books. I don't feel like it's a DNF forever. I just feel like I couldn't get in it right now. I'll let you know I'm dipping still back into my Patti Smith because, you know, Miss Patty's always where I go when I don't have patience for these plotty type of things. I just got 2 books that I'm really excited about that feel like more my vibe right now. The weather here, at least in this part of the Mediterranean, we don't really have a spring. It's like winter and then it's summer. So we're in the period of spring where it's not clear if it's gonna rain and be freezing or if it's gonna be hot and I can get a sunburn and be overheated. That's what I'm dealing with. Today is in the cold, rainy direction. It's March 11th and I still haven't finished a book. So one thing I wanted to mention before I end the video is that in the dance company that I work in, we adapted a stage piece for film and it's being streamed online. I will leave the link downstairs. You buy a ticket and you get a link, and I think it's from today, the 11th to the 13th. So like 3 days that you can watch it. So if you're interested in that, I think it's like $16 is the ticket price. I thought I would share, always want to share dance specifically with you because it's such a part of my life and work. Hopefully see you soon. I want to get back into filming, but big hugs and hope you guys are enjoying your lives. Okay, bye.